Well, ladies and gentlemen, we've got a lot to go over in this video. So I'm going to be playing the leaked Target Zoom call because this is extremely important and it needs to be brought to light by everyone who can talk about this. My measly small little channel, I'm going to do my part because what is being said in this Zoom call is outright discrimination against religious people in general and those who don't believe and don't subscribe to the woke cult of identity politics. This is attempting to use a person's influence at a company to get rid of those who disagree with the company's vision. This is not diversity. This is not inclusion. This is this type of fascistic, dictatorial, authoritarian tendency that you see a lot of times in these woke crusaders that want to try to bring kink culture to children. And so we're going to look at this panel, this gaggle of yentas, talking about this, all nodding their head at this ridiculous bullshit. Nobody opens their mouth and voices their opinion. And this is the type of discrimination that is illegal. We have laws on the books that if you're an employee of Target and you watch this and you are religious in nature and you feel discriminated against, I would highly recommend that you get in contact with an attorney. And we're going to be going over that. We're going to be going over all of the different things that we can do. It's not just about a boycott. There are things that we can do, actions that we can take. One of them is to contact the Daily Wire, the Quartering, Tim Pool, anyone you can, and tell them that you want them to run anti-Target ads. What I mean by that, and we're going to go over the whole thing, is 15 to 20 seconds in every video reminding people what Target did. Just a small little segment, maybe at the tail end of their advertisements, like buy Birch Gold here. You know, have you ever wanted Birch Gold? Well, you can put Birch Gold in your Tempur-Pedic mattress. And then at the end of that, 15 to 20 seconds, maybe 25 seconds, reminding people that Target as a company has openly discriminated against people who are Jewish, people who are Christian, people who are Catholic, people who are Muslim. In saying that if you don't adhere to our woke religion, if you don't adhere to the kinkification of children, if you don't think that a 6-month-old should be wearing a onesie that says queer, 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 and that should be at the front of the store, and that Target should be doing brand deals with satanic companies that think that it's okay to embrace that sort of evil. If you're not about that, well, then you can get out. If you think that's discrimination, and it is, you should do something about it. And that something is contacting an attorney and filing a lawsuit for discrimination. And I have a funny feeling that other people are going to sign on and do the same thing. That will be the first domino to fall. But without further ado, we'll get into all of that because I think that is incredibly important. But without further ado, let's watch the video in question. We've got the Quarterings video here. He's got a segment where he plays these women. So let's listen to them right now.
And as Chief Diversity and Inclusion Officer and Vice President of HR, tells all of Target employees to accept diversity, inclusion, and equity or find a new place to work.
It is important for us to also acknowledge that not everyone is going to believe or be bought into our strategies and our priorities on this topic.
Very diverse panel of 5 women.
You know, I thought that, and they're all nodding their head. But notice the buzzwords that she's using. I mean, it's pretty simple here. Conform to our cult and what we believe, or find another job. Well, if you're somebody who's working paycheck to paycheck, you may not be in a position to just go find another job because this company wants to groom towards kids. They want to support a group of perverts and degenerates that are advertising for kids. Now, if you have a problem with that, that is perfectly normal. And what these people are doing is trying to use your job, your livelihood, to force you into this immoral position or to remain silent. And that is discrimination. That is wrong. This woman should lose her job very publicly. But Target's not going to do that unless people call this woman out by name and make it very clear that her views are so toxic and so reprehensible, and they are, that if she is to remain employed, in fact, if all of these women are to remain employed, sitting there nodding their heads at this, then Target is going to be a brand as toxic as they are, and people just aren't going to shop there. And by the way, let me just say that on the other end of this, you have the left making threats to Target when they're not actually carrying them out and burning them down and, looting them and all that other stuff. So you have Targets that are closing because BLM and Antifa are going out of their way to destroy these stores. But on the other end of it, you should have you and I, who are not going to engage in that sort of barbaric, savage, just completely unlawful behavior, but we can make a difference on the other end. We can start talking about boycotts and making that very public, having Tim Pool and the Daily Wire and all these other companies, Jeremy from the Quartering, do these little brief anti-Target ads. You see, because if you remind people every once in a while, like, hey, I just want to let you know that if you're looking for something to buy, you could choose anywhere but Target. Target has hired people that don't respect your values or your religion, and they want to introduce kink to children. And that's not just me saying that, and then play this clip from this woman in context, and that could be a 20 to 25 second little bit, and I think that it would be very, very effective. Maybe have an image on your screen of Target's logo, just to make things crystal clear that what these women are saying, it's evil. It is evil, and it's unacceptable, and you should make the brand, Target, as toxic as them. I know that conservatives tend to give up pretty easily when it comes to this stuff, but no, there is no choice. It's not going to happen in a day. It may not happen in a month. It may not happen in a year. But if you consistently let people know that there are other options than Target, you do anti-Target ads. You make it perfectly clear that by them engaging in this, they are the new Bud Light. And any company that comes forward, they are the new Bud Light. You're going to make an example of them. Now, it may not be as effective as Bud Light because it's harder to do that with a company. But I tell you what, it's going to have an impact. Because in the short term, you have these woke people losing billions of dollars. But we're going to make sure that they lose tens of billions. We're going to make sure that this is an ongoing thing by doing ads, by reminding people. Hell, if you want to call the corporate branch and tell them that you saw this video and you were disgusted. I personally closed my Target account, by the way. I closed my Target account. I'm not going to be doing any shopping there. So I'm not just saying this, I'm putting my money where my mouth is.
They just aren't. And so when we talk about leader accountability and the importance of representation and these strategies and these goals being integrated into someone's responsibility, like just to be really pragmatic and practical, then it becomes, okay, you don't we may not be able to change your mind shift on appreciating why this is important. But you do understand that as a part of your job responsibilities, you will lead inclusively, you will have representation on your team, you will be responsible for these behaviors.
Why isn't there a single man represented here? Isn't that funny how that always works?
I think we know the answer to that.
Expectations. And it also, quite frankly, puts a light on the folks that don't believe in this, but emphasizes that you still have to do it to do this job, to be a part of this company.
No. That right there should be Exhibit A in a lawsuit about discrimination. You have somebody at the upper echelon of Target that is actively saying that if you don't conform to this evil, twisted, satanic, degenerate, child sex focusing cult, then you are either going to be forced to or you're going to lose your job. That is discrimination. That is perverse. That is disgusting. And people should not let Target forget it. Ever. Make Target the next Blockbuster. Make Target the next Bud Light. Blockbuster didn't go out of business out of one specific thing, but Blockbuster used to be on every corner. It used to be a household name. Everyone remembered Blockbuster. It was huge. It's gone now. So this idea that corporations are too big to fail and nothing's ever going to take them out, no. If a sustained campaign takes money from Target and you say no to this LGBTQ propaganda to kids, you can make a difference as well. And to make sure that people like this, they're the ones losing their jobs, not innocent people that just don't believe in the filth and the just unctuous, grotesque, evil, sinful shit that this woman is preaching. Which is, if you're against onesies for little kids, that say queer, and all this other sexual shit, well, you either get with the program or you're fired. This woman should be fired. This company should be sued. I hope that they do that. I hope that the Daily Wire and other companies do these anti-ads, and I hope that people will take a couple moments out of their day to either post on social media and tag in Target about how they're never shopping there again and explain why, and post this video. Make Target a toxic brand that can never recover from what they've allowed into their midst.
And eventually, you'll see a change in their mindset.
I mean, it's literally, she's literally admitting to programming her staff. Eventually they'll break down and just do it because they need to eat, right? These people need, this and 2 other jobs to pay their bills, right?
You should make this woman famous. This clip should be going viral constantly. This woman should be famous for this shit. Preying on people, using their livelihoods and their jobs.
Haha, diversity, equity, inclusion officer that probably makes $400,000 a year. These poors have to work. I mean, it's not like they're not going to work. So let's make sure they do diversity, equity, and inclusion too.
Or they may leave. And, that's a part of this process too. This isn't for everyone. But what has to be for everyone is accountability, and accountability comes with transparency.
I agree. Accountability and transparency. Make this woman transparent online and have her be accountable for what she's saying and the abusive way that she's wielding her power at this position, the way she's discriminating against other people, the way that she's targeting people who disagree with her insane, rabid, child predator ideology. Make this woman famous, make Target be transparent, and make sure that this woman, if she isn't fired, that her visage, her name, along with Target's, is as toxic as humanly possible, because what she is doing here is she's targeting innocent workers. She's targeting people like you and me that may have religious convictions, that may have things that prevent them from being one of these people that are okay with and accepting of and advocating for the sexualization of children.
It's really important.
Oh, yeah, very important. Someone who has a made-up job title that no company has ever existed ever is telling you it's important, should be important. The prerequisite for working at Target is being woke. Corporations forcing political ideology on its employees is illegal. All Target employees that don't support the woke mind virus should stay home for the holiday weekend. Yeah, I mean, I would say, I think it's interesting that it's a requirement. Accountability. The stock market just gave Target shareholders $9 billion worth of accountability. I mean, this stuff is absolute nonsense, right? Absolute nonsense. And what you're going to start to see now is some big class action lawsuits, I think.
Yeah.
Whether it's Bud Light, Anheuser-Busch.
Yeah, absolutely. And investors should go after them because they have violated their fiduciary duty. It's one thing to say, okay, well, this movement has customers. We want to appeal to them. So we're going to make a couple shirts or things here and there. But this is obviously a push from these loudmouth, brain-dead yentas that are saying that if you don't conform, if you don't do what we say, we're going to punish you. Well, they're the ones who should be punished. They're the ones who should lose their job. They're the ones that should be escorted out by the scruff of their neck and thrown out of the building. And all their stuff right along with them. Because this isn't just an ideological disagreement. This woman is actively saying, we are going to target innocent people that are not okay with this predatory kink mindset for kids, and we're going to make their life miserable, or we're going to make them fired. And if they don't conform, we're going to punish them because there are consequences to that. That is unacceptable. Simply put, there's no excuse for it. There's no, well, but you got to think about, no. And that's why I think that this woman should be made famous. You find out who this woman is. She's obviously very proud of her, Kiara Fernandez. Kiara Fernandez. Make sure that that name is as toxic as the title that comes along with that job. And Target itself. Now, I don't believe that you should send, and I want to add this as a very, very important addendum. I don't think you should contact this person directly at all on any social media platforms, on email, on telephone. Don't send her a carrier pigeon because she's not important. What's important is making it very, very clear that no matter who you are, if you're going to abuse innocent people, if you're going to use your position as a cudgel to hurt people that are just trying to do their job. Hey, you know what? I'm a Christian. I need a job at Target, but I don't believe in the stuff that targets kids. It's just not my thing. Not going to do that. You know, this woman will say, well, you can find another job. That's discrimination. That's wrong. It should be targeted. It should be pointed out. And I do very much hope that people will take this seriously and people will do some of the prescriptions that I've laid out. Which is to, of course, tweet about it. But that's not all. You can make videos like I am. You can reach out to the Daily Wire or whoever else and make them know. Hell, if you wanted to, you could send a super chat to one of these people like Tim Pool. Hey, Tim Pool, this is a $10 donation. I just wanted to take a moment to have you read out that Target is a company that supports X, Y, and Z. The woman, Kiara Fernandez, made it very clear that if you don't support this, then she's going to make sure that you get fired or moved on or discriminated against. Make that very clear. You can use the power of the purse. You can use super chats to get people like the Quartering and others, if they don't want to do it themselves, to say these things. And I think that's important because we are not going to allow this pernicious mind virus of wokeness to continue to go unchecked. It's gone on unchecked for far too long. People have wanted to be live and let live. Well, that time is over. Unfortunately, the goodwill that you've demonstrated, I don't really care what people are doing in their bedroom, that's over with. Because they've abused that, and now they're going after kids unapologetically and at the corporate level. So, the solution is, as I mentioned, if you work at Target, hire a lawyer, use this video. It's discrimination. Get in contact with the Daily Wire. Get in contact with the Quartering. Get in contact with Tim Pool. Get in contact with anyone. Send super chats so that people have to read this stuff and make it clear that you are against this type of thing. Have your voice be so loud within these different spaces that nobody can ignore it. I think that's the prescription going forward. To use your rights and responsibilities reasonably. We're not the left. We don't resort to violence. We don't resort to, going after somebody personally. Because the left would go after this person personally. They go after her, try to spam her, send her death threats and all that. No, that is the most worthless, useless waste of your time. Because if you went after her personally, they would use it as a sob story. Oh, she's a victim of this. And then at the worst, they fire her and replace her with somebody identical. No, it's the whole system. The only reason that you're pointing her out is because she has said, in no uncertain terms, this content, this comment. You make Target toxic. You make this woman's name toxic. You make that title toxic so that no corporation will be stupid enough to ever do this shit again. And I have a couple of videos to do on Bud Light or Anheuser-Busch because they're supporting other stuff, but they never learn. But we're going to have to keep teaching them the same lesson over and over. Boycotts do work. Letting your voice be heard works. And I think this is an important time to make sure that it is abundantly clear to these sickos that you are not okay with this, and that if a corporation has people like this on its staff and they're embracing this ideology, that you will be against them. Anyway, that'll do it for today's video. Thanks for watching, ladies and gentlemen, and I'll see you next time.